to the Lit Ladies Lounge. I'm author Olivia Linden.
I'm author J.R. Mason.
Today we'll be discussing romance versus reality with our special guest, author Ayla Cox.
Hi, Ayla. It's the first time I've seen your face. You always have your silhouette on everything.
The mask is off.
She's so mysterious.
We love it. Gorgeous, darling, gorgeous.
Oh, I know.
So, regarding the topic, I just want to jump right in because I know we all have a lot that we can say, and we all are very much skilled and versed in all this experience. So, when it comes to romance in books, I think we all write a little differently. I know that JR, she pulls heavily from reality. And Ayla, you are a little bit, I feel like a little bit more erotic than me. So.
Well, hold on. Yeah. Tell us about your books.
Yeah.
What's happening. Yeah. Start with that.
So I have the Just a Taste series, which the first is a novella and the second is unfortunately a full length, which we've talked about before. It wasn't intentional at all. And they're set in a VC firm in San Francisco with two people of color. One of them is plus size. And I think, the biggest thing is that I wanted to kind of dive into the world and create a visual representation of all this weird stuff that I was seeing while I was in this proximity to all these ultra wealthy individuals. But I also wanted to tell something really spicy and just kind of clear my throat a little bit because it had been a while since I had written anything, and then these just kind of came out.
Okay.
It came out all right. I was hot. I was like, oh my goodness, I got a taste all right. I can use another taste.
I told you, you had me blushing. I was looking around is anybody watching me read this?
Oh my God. And I didn't even realize, I knew. I knew that. And then as I was listening to the narrator, Aline, do the first one, I was legit turning the volume down because I was like, ooh, I hope nobody else can hear this. This is a lot.
And she did an amazing job narrating that too.
Yeah, she's so fantastic and so incredibly talented. I love her so much.
I mean, those sound bites were, ooh.
Yes. One of them got me in trouble.
Yeah. She's like me. TikTok is honest. We can't post anything. Banned.
Nope.
Are you serious?
Absolutely not. You can't do that. And I'm all these weird weirdos sitting here doing the whimpering moan stuff, and I'm just she's just reading a book, bro. It's fine. It's what it is.
And so wait, it wasn't even the sexy time part? It was just
it was the beginning of a sexy time part. So it wasn't as intense as some of the other areas of the book, but I thought that it was fine. It wasn't super over the top, I didn't feel like. But TikTok was absolutely not. And I was like, okay, that's fair.
See, that's crazy because I'm actually recording my own audiobook. I don't sound like this. I sound more like this, and I have to put my audio voice on that. This is exhausting and very taxing on the throat. So so this is what I sound like in real life. But so I'm recording my own, and I couldn't find any sexy time noises, so I had to make them myself. And I didn't realize that the door was open, the screen was down. I had 8 gut-wrenching orgasms into this computer to go underneath my sex scenes, and I played it on, I want to say I had it on TikTok. It didn't get taken down.
Listen, there is a whole subset of videos of this one particular guy that does these voiceovers, and he's like, yeah, baby, let me tell you how. And women are just going crazy, and none of his videos are muted. They're not taken down. And he's very detailed, telling you what he wants to do to you in that sexy voice. So go figure.
Wait, who is this? Who is this?
Alpha.
Pen?
You just have to listen. Oh, look for Praise Kink. Praise Kink audio, and you'll find it.
Praise kink.
Praise
That's a
Kink.
thing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh, 1,000%. That's what's in these.
Mm-hmm. You're a good girl.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now, let's talk about how realistic that is, though. Who wants to go first?
Well, I mean, hers are like pretty
I'm
much
not getting any of it, so.
Well, yeah, that's fair. But I think it's interesting because I think a couple of TikToks that I've seen too show like women saying like they wish that men would read these more because their sex lives would be much more fulfilling if they had taken the time to like learn these intricacies of how women work, what they want, actually asking questions and communicating. Like these are all things that we desire, and it's not often that someone else is able to meet those things. And so I think it's interesting to me because this is all the stuff that I wish, I shouldn't say that. This is all the stuff that I think should happen in a fulfilling relationship, like having conversations, asking, is this okay? Do you like this? What if we try this thing? Like, I feel like that's how those relationships should work. And in my personal experience, it's always kind of just been men focused on their own needs and desires, and then your desires, if they overlap, are great, but like it's always comes second. And so I think that's kind of why so many women are drawn to romance novels in general, is to like fulfill a fantasy or to like engage in the idea of like this thing that they wish that they could have that, you know, they haven't been getting or that they don't feel comfortable asking for.
Yeah. I don't know if a lot of men understand the psychological aspect of sex, you know? Like, get in my head a little bit. It's not just, you know, a physical thing. They don't realize we're not like them. We don't just have this thing that once it gets hard, everything is great. You know, it takes a little bit more for us to get into it. And the more you get in here is the better it is everywhere else. But I don't know. I've had one or two, but I can't say that overall that's a grasped concept.
Well, you've had one or two more than I have. I'm still waiting for one.
Now, as far as the
It's
conversation, right? But as far as the conversation, though, like, you know, what she was saying, being able to have that conversation with somebody and, you know, get to know each other and know, okay, this is what I really like, and then have them actually care enough to do it, that's rare.
I've never had that happen to me ever. I feel totally comfortable saying that because it's unfortunate. And I think that, you know, people just need to do better. And I think part of it too is like, we don't know what we need and all of these things until we get much older. And then it's just kind of like, do you just accept what you've been handed if you're already in a relationship? Or do you go out and try and like find this like needle in this stack of needles? And it's like a stack of corroded needles that probably have a bunch of germs and diseases all over them, and you're just getting stabbed left and right. That's fine, because maybe you're gonna find the shiny one.
Girl, you're gonna get hepatitis.
Right.
Maybe hepatitis
and everything from them needles. It's about to be a wreck.
No. That's sad.
Yeah.
Well, all I know is that book had me wanting all of it, and it was mildly depressing. I feel like I'm depressed anytime I read anything like this because I'm not getting any of it. Like I read Olivia's and in Forever My Lady, he was just romancing her, and I'm just like, why can't my man come back for me and romance me like that? And then I'm reading yours, Ayla, and I'm just like, oh, I need to update my resume, get back into corporate America so we could do all this naughty stuff on the desk. Like I want to be taken like that and loved like her book and, you know, sex like in yours. Yeah. And I'm just like, this is depressing.
Yeah. And I think it's crazy too, because like, I think everybody deserves that. And I feel like men think they know what they want, but I think if they had someone who was like truly there and engaged and responsive, they'd have way more fun than they think that they realize that they would. But I think it takes a certain amount of like it takes a certain amount of like that growth mindset to be like, this is not necessarily working in the way that I want it to, and I need to grow and be better and change and evolve. And I think it's like the idea of that change and that evolution is super scary for some people. But I mean, change is uncomfortable inherently.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean you don't do it. Just stop being a bitch about it.
Right. I mean, I changed. I think I changed. I had to change because I'm seriously, like, I was just like, I'm very playful. I'm very playful and I'm very adventurous. So if we're going to be in an intimate relationship, I need someone who's open to trying things. I need somebody who's not set in their ways about how it's supposed to go.
Yeah.
So like in the beginning, I'm very, inquisitive. I start asking these questions. So I know they say you're not supposed to really talk about sex too soon, but I still try to find a way to figure out, okay, how are you? What are you like? Because I know we're going to hit a brick wall if I'm in here trying to tie you up and you're just like, no, we can't do this. I'm like,
I don't think there's anything wrong with that. You have to find that middle ground, because if you guys are incompatible sexually, that relationship is never going to work unless you want to have a relationship that is devoid of sex. Like that's just the reality. And so having those conversations early prevents you from sucking too much of your time out for this person that is not a good fit for you.
True.
But absolutely. Again, I just made a real
go ahead.
I just made a real TikTok about, there was this guy, man, who he said he was a very traditional lover. And I'm like, what does that mean? Well, he doesn't want to go down on a woman, but he wants his woman to go down on him. And I'm like, okay, well, I don't know what tradition that's from, but you need to go back.
You can keep that tradition to yourself.
Right.
When they were telling people to go back where you came from.
For real.
Yeah, he wasn't American though, so I'm not sure where he was from, but whatever his culture was, that's not what they do. So I'm like, okay, well, that's not gonna work for me.
Yeah, well, I'm Jamaican, and they, Jamaican men are notorious. They don't do that. Men don't do that. I'm like, you do it today, sir. You do it now.
So that's still real? Like, that's real?
Yeah, they say it, but they do it. They say they don't, but they do it. They're doing it. Like,
yeah, I think it's the struggle for me because it took me a long time to like find my voice and to find my like rhythm as a human and as an adult. And so when I started going into these relationships, it was always just kind of like me going with the flow because I didn't realize what it was that I needed or wanted or like what I needed to ask questions about and all that other shit. And like, it wasn't until I got much older that I was just like, what is this how it's supposed to be? Like sometimes you have an orgasm, sometimes you don't. I'm not even gonna have a conversation about that one. But like I never had somebody go down on me until last year. And I'm 34. And so it's just like this is the reality of like when men are so fixated and thinking about what it is that they are interested in, they don't like think about the whole act itself. Because like I've had dicks in my mouth and I really enjoy it. So I'm just like, I'm cool. It is fine. But then I thought about it and I'm like, well, how is it that I always, well, like I enjoy it. So I'm not going to be like, no. But still, like, how can you, that's like eating food in front of somebody and like not offering them any.
Seriously.
Yeah.
You like, hello, what about me? You like it, so I like it as well. Like, let's go.
I have a question. Okay, so you're 34. You finally had the thing done last year. You said last year? No.
Mm-hmm.
Was that okay?
Last year.
So
yeah, last year.
What did you think? Like, how did you feel? Like, yay, nay, thumbs up?
I mean, about it is like you can't miss something you never had, right? So I was just like, whatever. I mean, I don't know what it's like. I don't know what it's like, so I don't know to miss it. And then I had it, and it was just like, it was so, I don't want to say mediocre because that's not nice. But
Girl,
like,
you are in the lit ladies lounge.
it's so I feel like there's layers, right? And you were just doing like the very basic. You gave me the basic package when you could have been giving me the premium package. And so I was just sitting with the basic package, and I'm like, oh, okay, I guess this is nice. But like, I was promised the premium package. And I got like basic AB cable, and I'm like, I guess.
You ain't got no HBO on this. What's going on here?
Oh my god!
Like, I can watch the porn channels, but I gotta watch.
I can relate because, right? Yeah. Yeah. I thought I was having one like when they were doing it like back in the day, and then Diego was like in confessions, and then I was like, whoa, shit! Like, and I was like, I think I had organ failure, kidney failure, my liver, everything,
No.
my heart, vision. Yeah, it was bad. It was bad. I was like, okay, that's what it's supposed to feel like. Okay, noted. Like anything below that, it's you go home.
You ain't even trying.
Right. And you know, again, it's one of those things where the more you like it, you know, if they like it, like if you don't like it, and I say this too, if you don't enjoy it, don't do it. I don't need you to do it. I'm not one of those people that it's a prerequisite, because you're gonna piss me off if you go down there and you're like, I don't. Either you're gonna love it or you're just gonna leave it alone. That's it.
For real. That is
Look at her face.
Not the face. Oh my god.
I'm just saying.
It's true though. I've had that before where it's just like I've asked the question and it's just like it's so like, why'd you even bother? Why didn't you just say no? Like I don't get it. Like that's not even like it's like when a dog is like drinking water. But it's like but they don't know if it's a good water. So they're like just giving it like a tentative, like maybe I'll like this. I don't know. And then I had one dude have the audacity to gag, and I was like, "You got to get out house."
Oh, I'd have hit him in his head.
You got to get out. You got to go right now. Bye.
Oh, that would have been a fight. We would have been tussling. Are you serious?
I don't have audacity if they have anything else.
Oh, well, that's all they seem to have these days. Let me tell you.
It's on sale.
It's free.
It is on sale. It's on clearance.
It's down at the bodega. Get yours.
Oh. So this guy who gagged, did he just like has he never done it before? Like what happened?
I don't understand. It was like, I think it was, I asked the question and then he did like a little bit and then he gagged and I was like, yeah, this is not it for me. I don't know.
Okay. So were you on that live where we were talking about this, and me and Denise were kind of saying that there may be something generationally, because what I've been seeing lately, and I have a video I'm going to stitch, this guy recommending for women to get this body oil or some type of yoni oil that makes it smell like strawberries or whatever. And I feel like this generation right underneath me, you know, I won't speak for JR because she's 30, so, you know, but underneath, like, guys my age, I used to have to beat them off with a stick. Like, guys I wouldn't want them. Like, we're not dating. They would beg for it. They don't care if you showered, shaved, nothing. They're going to stick their face in there. They want it so bad. But I'm seeing, like, the younger generation, it has to be, like, shaved and it has to smell this particular way. I'm like, I don't smell like strawberries. I don't care how clean she is. I'm not a strawberry.
Yeah.
If you come into this thinking I'm supposed to smell like a strawberry, I mean, your dick don't smell like strawberries.
I mean,
and like, don't taste like it either.
So that's what really I'm thinking. I'm like, are these guys, you know, are we spoiling them with all our little primping and preening And, you know, it's like the minute it doesn't smell like a mango or a Pop-Tart, they don't want it.
I think that's part of it because, like, I feel like they also have this image in their head. And so I was living with the guy, and this was a very long time ago. And he used to like judge. This was a horrible relationship, but he used to judge me because I didn't get dressed, put on a bra, put on makeup, and do my hair every single day. And he was used to that because that was the image that his mother cultivated for him. And so he just thought that that was naturally what you did. And I'm like, look, I'm not going to sit around in a bra in my house. Like, that's just not going to happen. So it's unfortunate that you think that that's how I should dress, but I'm not going to fucking do that. Like, I'm not going to do that. And so I think it's partly like what they hear from like their aunties and their moms, if there's like those kinds of conversations going on. Probably their uncles and brothers, I guess. But like also it's like the image too of what like porn has burned into their brain on like what they should like. Because I think one of the things that's like always kind of like boggled the mind for me is men like slapping it. And I'm just like, okay, I get paid, but like smack, I feel like that is just a lot. And I'm curious if there's like pleasure derived from that, or if that's a weird thing that they just thought up one day in porn and they were just like, this is what I'm gonna do.
Well, I mean, I've seen a couple of porns.
Wait,
you know.
stop. Are you talking about smacking the front? Because they should be doing that too, or smacking the back.
The back I can get.
Oh, the front.
The front. Like actually like smacking and like separating the lips out.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Right, but in porn, you've seen, I mean, I've seen, I don't know about everybody else, but I've seen the girls, because that's that, again, that image, that false image, and they're smacking herself. Right. I've never done that, by the way. Who does that?
Never.
Why are we doing this? Who does that?
Oh no.
Now you have these guys that are watching this and thinking that this is what women want.
Mm-hmm. And I think it's the same thing. And I think that goes back to the blowjob thing too, because if in porn you have, the first 20 minutes or so dedicated to him getting his dick sucked, and then they just get down to it. Like, of course, in your brain, you're like, oh, that's how sex goes. She sucks my dick and then we fuck. Like, I mean, what else happens? And I feel like it's changed a little bit over the last like decade, that it's becoming a little bit more women centered. But I feel like it's just this image of just like the woman is just there to be flipped around and, thrown upside down and all that other bullshit.
I mean, and if you're good with that, it's not terrible.
When they do her, they're not doing it right. Like, they're doing it for the camera. So it's just the tip of the tongue, and they're holding everything open so the camera can see everything. And it's like, no. And the only porn I ever watched where he face buried in it, and I'm like, oh, no, he's doing it right. That's the way. Like, oh, this tip of the tongue. Like, what are you doing? So yeah, like show the real thing. That's gonna get me more turned on. I don't need to see all of her everything. I need to see you doing it right. That's gonna get me hotter.
Exactly. No, I totally agree.
Yeah, I think women, we're gonna, I don't know, I think it's back to the evolution. Like, we're gonna have to be a little bit more assertive, because I get called aggressive, and I'm just like, I'm not aggressive. I'm literally just not allowing anything that I don't want to happen to my physical body. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have the right to tell you what I like and tell you what I don't like. And me doing that to make sure that you understand me is not aggressive. Maybe you're just not listening. And so, you know what I'm saying? Like, hello, listen to what I'm saying, and this will be different. So, yeah.
And I think part of it too is like, women are supposed to be seen as demure. And so once we start acting assertive and we start to have personalities, then it becomes a problem. And I think that's part of the struggle that I have had just in general, is trying to like combat that like angry Black woman image. And so I've become like the cheerful plus size Black chick, and it's just like, oh, I'm the, you know, the belle of the ball. I have the parties. That's fine, whatever. But it's just like I anytime that shifts towards me being like upset or me being stern, then it's immediately like, oh, Amanda's an angry Black woman again. Like, but I just, yeah, it's rough. It's rough.
Listen, call me whatever you want. All right. I don't care, because you can't let that, not you specifically, but people are always going to try to find a way to minimize you if they feel like you're too much.
Yeah.
And we're starting to learn that when you have so many different facets, are you also intelligent? You're beautiful, you're this, you're that. It's like, it's all too much. It's always going to be too much. So I'm supposed to be all these things, but mute on top, just be mute.
Yeah.
No. No, sir.
No, I agree. I think it's rough because we have to be the backbone. We have to be all of the things. And this is something we were talking about last night. Is it's like, you have to be the carer, you have to be the emotional one, you have to be the support system for everybody, you have to be the fixer, you have to, be the Captain Save-A-Ho whenever they need you to. And it's just like, well, when do I have time to focus on myself, my needs, what I'm looking for, when I'm spending all of this time taking care of every single other person in life? It's just, it's untenable. And it is unfortunate that it seems like that is just the weight that is placed upon us.
And so that is why I was so drawn to your main character, because after doing all of the things that you just said, your girl is tired. Like, and I don't even have kids. I'm tired, right? So I need you to handle this. Like, take over. Yes, sir. How may I please you, sir? Like, yes. Like, you gonna tie me up? What would you like me to do? I have like secret sub desires.
And I think that that's the thing, is like, everybody has this moment where they're just like, I just don't want to worry about this anymore, and I don't want to have to fix this thing anymore. And for some people that could be in the bedroom, for some people that could just be at home. Like, they could have like the cleanest office, they could just be on top of everything, and then they get home and their house is a mess. It's just like, everybody has their space, everybody has their thing. And I think what drew me to thinking about like power exchange and power dynamics in this book is that, there's always this pressure to be the person that always fixes everything, and that has that control over every aspect of everything. And so when, she meets Hugh and she feels herself let go, she feels comfortable enough to let herself go, she starts to realize, like, this isn't necessarily how life has to be. And I think that's kind of like the biggest thing, is because we all know a Denise that has been in this relationship for way too long, that has, suffered through someone who doesn't appreciate them, that is, in something just because it's easy, because it's just the way that life has progressed, and it's easier just to accept it than to ask questions and try to do something different. And so for the way that I wanted to kind of structure these books is that, like, there's always going to be like some event, some like culmination of stuff that's going to come and just shake your whole fucking shit up. And coming from me, like, the reason why I wrote these books is because something came and shook my shit up. And I was like, oh, like, what am I going to do? Like, what is my purpose in life? Like, I had a whole ass like existential crisis. And I was like, okay, the first step is just to admit that shit's fucked up right now, and then move forward with that knowledge in mind.
And what you said about control, having a partner that makes you feel secure enough where you can relinquish that need to always be in control, that right there is just amazing. It's just an incredible feeling, because it's like, oh my God, the relief. And now you can actually enjoy yourself.
Exactly.
Anything you do to me now, it's like, thank you, God.
Safe.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, it's a safety too. Feeling safe. Like, I don't think I've ever been in a situation where I've really truly felt like safe enough to just with anyone. And that's terrible, because I am 30 years old.
Right.
I was gonna say, there's men who in like doing the whole dom thing in your book, some of them want to be doms, but like, dude, you don't understand. Like, you don't understand it. Like, that doesn't mean just hurt us. Like, there's a way that you go about it, and that's not it. Like, don't choke me like from the like, you could crush my whole windpipe. There's a way. Like, learn it first before you come walking in here acting like I'm the dom. Like, I'm gonna do no. Go immerse yourself and take a class or something.
It's a mix too, because you have people who understand, who know the rules, who know that there are boundaries, and understand like the sanctity that comes from being given that control, right? You have people who just understand because they know it. They've done their research. They've been engaging in these relationships. They go to, munches, or they go to clubs, and they know. And then you have these people who think that kinky girls are an easy lay. And so they just kind of jump in, and they're just like, I can be whatever it is you want me to be. And then they just sit here and they just traumatize these women who don't know any better. And I think, that's why like it was rough for me, because as much as I love these books, I struggle because I don't want someone to read them and to just immediately like jump into this type of relationship with someone that doesn't understand how it works and that hasn't done their research, and they haven't done their research either, because you can seriously hurt yourself. Like you said, when you're doing breath play, you have to be very particular about how you do it. And most people, when they engage in breath play, don't actually engage in breath play, which is really funny. So because the throat is so sensitive, and the way that, it's structured, you have all these arteries, like it's not really recommended that you choke anybody, not for real. Like it's more of the like the placement, and the idea of you giving that control that, to someone else like that. You have that vulnerability, right? And so you have these dumbasses who are just like, oh yeah, I'm gonna choke this bitch. Like, that's murder. What are you doing?
Did I tell you? I mean, we were young. We were young. I was in high school. It was my high school boyfriend, and we thought we were adventurous. We were in love. We loved each other so much. And he was like, so I don't know where he got it from, but it's like, basically, if you do it, it's supposed to be just a certain amount of pressure right when you're about to come. It makes it even better, right? So I'm like, okay, cool, let's try it. So I'm like, oh, I'm coming, whatever. Girl, I woke up and he's crying. He's like, oh my God. He thought I was dead. I passed out.
Oh my God.
He is in tears. He's like,
wait, hold on. First of all, I got questions. You're in high school and he's making you come?
Oh, damn. She's mad now. She's jealous.
Yeah.
Yes, because I still have yet to come from actual intercourse. It's not fair. And he's doing it in high school.
Oh.
Wow.
Is it because you can't from just like vaginal penetration? Is it this or is it just a combination of things? Because I have a girl who just never left
long enough. It was like 6 minutes. That's the standard. Like six minutes. And then they're like, I gotta come. And I'm like, no, you don't have to. You can stop. You can pull out. You can regroup, think about politics and baseball. And then you go back in.
Mad disrespectful.
Well, we always talk about hood adjacent, and there's a big difference depending on which side of the hood you traverse.
Yeah, that's
so we talked about this in the last podcast about which side I like to traverse, because you really don't go wrong. I mean,
yeah.
But
even they haven't made me come yet, so I'm still waiting. How long do I have to wait? Like,
I think what you should do is like make it a game and just bug him enough that he feels like he has to like rise to the occasion. And so that way he has like skin in the game.
First of all,
I bet you can't do this, and I bet you can't do this.
It's like
There's
Saw.
no
Want to
key.
play
I gotta
games?
find his ass first. Okay, let me find him first because there's no key. Secondly, Olivia and I were talking about how some of these men are having problems rising to any occasion lately. So.
Oh, that's been it. It's like that's one of my like least favorite sexual memories. Is the guy was like, he kept having to pull out, and then he had like his bong and he was taking rips, and it was just like, it was such a bizarre experience, and I was just kind of like, what is even happening? And then I'm just like, is there something that I am doing that is like making you like soft? Like, I'm very confused. I don't get it. But
No, I mean, clearly, if this man is pausing there's something going on there with him. If he's pausing to take a toke on his bong, like clearly something else is going on. But now that's another question that is coming to mind for me is how many people in substances are affecting their performance and they don't realize it. People abusing, these performance enhancing stimulants when they don't need it. And so then it's causing them to not work without it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wonder if there's something else going on now. It's the whole subculture of, sir, why are you broken? What's going on here? What happened?
You've been wanting to say that all week.
I have.
Every time we talk, that's all she says. Sir, why are you broken?
Well, I think that's the thing too. Is I was just like, I was looking forward to it. I'm just like, okay. And that's the thing, is like having those conversations, like having like those discussions early. And so I am a little bit more transparent. I'm just like, hey, what are you working with? This is what I'm working with. Let's see what we can do to meet in the middle. And like, it's aggressive, but I also know that I am just not here to suffer fools. Like, I can't do it. Right. And
it's assertive, not aggressive.
Yeah. And it's just, it's a struggle bus because some people don't like that shit. But at the same time, I'm just not here to pretend like your mediocre dick is what I want. Like, I just don't. And if that's what you have to offer, then I can stay home because I have mediocre dick in my cabinet.
Okay.
Girl, and I got a heated vibrating bed with my mediocre dick. Except my dick in my closet upstairs is not mediocre. It's pretty impressive. But yes, I bought a vibrating bed to help you out. And you still can't get the shit right?
Speaking of vibrating bed, how does this work? Like, is it like one of those like beds in a motel where you stick like the pennies in it? Is that the kind of vibrating we're talking about? I mean, not to say that it's cheap. I'm just trying to figure it in my brain. Because I've never been to the store and been like, can I get the bed that vibrates? I just have questions.
Well, maybe you should go to the store. They have a base. It's Tempur-Pedic. Okay, pay us, Tempur-Pedic.
Right.
Tempur-Pedic base. It has a remote control and everything, and it can like just do the lower part, or it can go upper part, or it'll like sway down and sway back up and down, and it like lifts your head or it lifts your feet. And I have this like 4-point restraint system underneath of like between the mattress and the base, so you get restrained and then you're vibrating and
all of that. And you still ain't
buy it for that purpose, though. I bought it. I bought it for relaxation purposes. It wasn't for sexual purposes. But what had happened was, in my Confessions, the first book, around chapter 16 somewhere, a vibrating. Are we allowed to say butt plug?
Yeah.
Yes,
I think.
Okay. A vibrating butt plug was sent to the house, and so I was being pressured to finally use it. So finally, I was like, all right, fine, whatever. And so that thing's vibrating. The bed is vibrating. The man gives head like nobody's business. So that feels like a vibrator. And when I tell y'all the orgasm that I had, my hair straightened, my eyes turned a natural shade of green.
Okay, Becky.
I love it. Love it.
Mm-mm.
You
Come
melted.
back. I think we've lost her to the moment.
Oh God.
Come back.
I know, it was so good. And then I couldn't do it again. I couldn't bring myself to ever do it again. He's like, let's do that again. I'm like, let's not. Like, I was so traumatized by that.
Why?
Oh no,
My
you
heart
were
wasn't
scared.
beating. Man, I thought I was gonna die. I thought I was gonna have a stroke for real. My head was like pounding, everything. It was way too intense. But
I
yeah, I
always
highly
say
recommend
though,
that too.
if you like get into anal play and it works, that could be a very dangerous Pandora's box because it's almost better than regularly. So it's like I get it. It's like I don't want to get used to this because then I won't want to go back.
Mhm. It's I think it's you have to
Yeah. Yeah.
prep for it and do it right too. And I
Mhm.
think
Oh yeah, no.
that bothers me in books when all of a sudden he is fucking her in the ass. I'm like, that's
Yeah.
not how that works. Please don't tell people that.
Okay, but I think Olivia, I told you this story. Like I had a guy, we were talking about the dude in the last podcast who wore the snugger fit condoms. Did you know that was a thing, Ayla?
I did not.
Yeah, snugger fit. They're for the smaller sized man. And he was drunk. I was not drunk because I don't drink much. And he was going kind of around the wrong hole. And I'm like, that's not the right hole. But I was like, well, I'm really not that big. Let's just let him go and see what happens. And so then I accidentally had a little booty love. So technically, he can just 1 minute
I
be,
mean, if his pee is tiny, yeah, sure. If it ain't much there, it's not much bigger than a finger. I mean, might as well. But it's just I worry because like it stretches and it tears and like
Mhm.
that's not good. And then yeah, it's all bad. Like it just opens you up to all kind of stuff because there's all kind of shit, literally.
Literally, yeah. And again, it's down to
yeah.
the technique. There's certain things where if you don't know what you're doing, whether it's like we said, the BDSM or, anal play or anything like that, like those are not things you just jump into.
Yeah.
You have to know what you're doing. You have to like it.
Yup.
And you have to have presence of mind to know when it's not working and like retreat,
Exactly.
so
Exactly.
you're
And I
right.
think men get so wrapped up in their own pleasure that I feel like sometimes they don't realize that they need to retreat. Like just take a step back or regroup, read the room, and then try again, or maybe try again another day. But I just feel like it's always a struggle bus to get some type of reciprocation to be on that same page.
Mhm.
And I think it's just because the way that I see it is that the men that are out there that are left over are dregs. And so you're just like sorting through the ones that nobody wanted and just trying to find like the best out of like the worst situation. And I know that's not the way to think about it, but like how I feel about it sometimes
I
because
don't like drugs.
I feel like I'm so specific, and I think this is part of it too. Like I'm so specific about what it is that I'm looking for.
Accurate.
Yeah, I'm so specific about like what it is that I'm looking for, and then like I posted on all these things, and I don't leave the house, which is problematic in and of itself. But like I posted on like my dating profiles, and I still get messages that are looking for the wrong things. I still get people who are just about bullshit, and it's just like, if I'm specific about what it is I'm looking for, why are you talking to me if that's not what you're looking for? Like, I just don't understand. Like, if I say, like, or like when someone will say something about, like, I'm looking for, a relationship. And I'm like, okay, fantastic. And I'll message them and they'll be like, can I come over? No, you can't come over here. I don't know you.
I haven't even tried, like, well, no, I take it back. I did try online dating years ago, and I was like, this is not for me. Because I mean, I think the second message, the first couple were all the same. They were so nice, and it was like, oh, can you send me a picture of your boobs? Okay, thanks, but no thanks. And then I got one who, the conversation was great. We were emailing back and forth, and then I was like, well, what would our date be like? Like, what's a perfect date for you? And he goes, okay, well, this is further into the relationship, but this is a dream day for me. So I get this email. So I first see all these words and I'm so excited because I'm like, okay, he's actually taking this serious. When he outlined what he wanted, and it was like, you're going to come to my apartment, and, I guess he has a penthouse or whatever, and I'm going to be in my undies or tidy whities. I forgot how he described it. And I'm going to get upset because the place is a mess. And he's going to say he's sorry and hand me his credit card. I'm going to go shopping. And then he's going to clean up the place. And when I come back, I'm going to tell him he missed a spot and like force him to clean up the bathroom. And I'll just stop there because it just got exponentially worse. And I closed out my profile immediately. I was like, I don't forget it. I was just like, you know what? I'll just deal with real life. I can't do this. I never want to see anything like this again. That's the date.
So he like kind of wanted you to be his dom or something?
Basically, or his pay mama, or he's the pay master. I don't know, something. But the only part that, I was into, I was like, I will take your credit card and go shopping, and then I'll go home. And then I'll return safely to my house because I'm scared of you. I'm afraid.
Yeah. And I think it's so strange because like so many men are just like off the wall bonkers, and they say all this stuff in messages that they would never say to someone's face in real life. And then you meet someone who seems really nice and you're just like, okay, well, this is my boundary. You're not coming to my home. We're meeting in public somewhere. You will not like have my phone number at the beginning. Like I have all of these things that I do to protect myself. And it's very good reasons behind all of this stuff. Like for the same reason that I should probably say this just in case. I mean, it's a little different now, but like if you are uploading pictures to dating profiles, please be sure that those pictures do not exist anywhere else on the internet, because I had a man find me because I wasn't replying to his messages because I just hadn't checked them. He found me on LinkedIn because he reverse image searched my picture from my dating profile. And I was just like, oh, that's romantic. So I know. You even got to tell me. You even got to tell me. It's fine. At least, it was good sometimes. That was a long time ago. So
is this like occasionally breaking in?
Just occasionally. So it's the Google image search has been dumbed down since then, but I do feel like I should say that just in case anybody, needs to hear that information, because it 100% happened to me. And so I feel like, you have to be a little bit more careful about the rules that you have set, and like be firm too, because people love to push your buttons, or they love to insult you for having boundaries. Like I told someone else, like, I really don't feel comfortable meeting you for dinner because we've said 2 words to each other, and I don't want to be in a room with you for 2 hours talking, and I don't know you. Like I don't know if it's even worth my time to put a bra on and go outside. Like, let's be for real. And like, he was just like, oh, you're fat, you're ugly, blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, okay, well, thank you for proving my point.
Now, how do we get from point A to point B? How do we get from
you want to your weight out there?
You want to take me out on a date, and because I don't want to do it exactly how you want to do it, now I'm ugly and everything else. Like, sir,
you wanted to fuck me 5 seconds ago.
Exactly.
But also, I always look at 2 sides of everything, because unfortunately there are a lot of women that do not set these boundaries and standards. Yes. So then when you do, now you're problematic, and it's like, no, this is just me being safe.
Exactly.
Normal. Exactly. Right.
I saw a girl tell this story, and it reminds me of Risa Tisa, but it wasn't like a 50-part saga.
The realist for that.
Okay, but this girl comes on into a story time, and she's talking about how she met a guy online, and I guess the online conversation was okay. And they jump literally from discussing things online to her just throwing it out there one day because she was bored. Like, I think they were flirting, and he must have said, "Oh, I would do XYZ." And she was like, "Oh, show me." And he's like, "All right, come through." So she leaves where she is to go to his home. So the first time that they're meeting is at his home. And, in the process of them doing whatever they're doing, he did something very bizarre and off the wall. And so her whole story time was like, and is it just me or was that weird? And it was like, well, you didn't know him. So it's not unreasonable to expect that something weird might happen.
Exactly.
He's literally a stranger. You just went from you didn't even know if he was going to look like he looked in the pictures that he sent you. You had no idea. And you went to his house.
And that's the thing too, is like, not only that, but like, even if you do have, a 5-date rule or a 10-date rule or whatever, like, people are very good at pretending to get what they want. Like, they will show you this image of whatever it is that you are looking for in order to get to the end goal for themselves. And so, like, why would you not give yourself the space to like learn more about this person, to investigate them before you even have anything? Because in my brain, I'm always thinking worst case scenario. And it's just like, if I ended up pregnant, like if the condom broke, if something crazy happened, would I want to be stuck with this motherfucker? And if you don't even have the information that you need to answer that question, even a ballpark figure, you probably shouldn't be doing what you're doing. I'm saying.
And I used to go by that in my 20s when I was younger. Like, if something happens, would I want to have this person's baby? And if the answer is no, then we got some things to think about,
That's accurate.
But it's very scary.
So this is the reality. This is the reality that we were talking about versus the romance. Exactly. Sad.
And that's why, I made it, especially with the R&B series that I wrote, I specifically wanted it to be like, the love songs, like the men who, I don't want it to be where he's doing all of this stuff and it's just like not realistic at all. But I wanted to write in some of the things that I felt were falling short for not just my relationships, but, you talk to your girls and your friends and you go on social media. And I feel like that romance aspect, that not I'm doing this because I think this is what women like, but I'm doing this because not only do I care about you that much, but I know what you like and I want to please you. You know what I'm saying? And so, I didn't think, I hoped writing it that there would be a response, but the response that I'm getting, with women saying, where is this guy in real life? And, why can't guys do this anymore? Why are they not doing it anymore? And, that's
the problem, because what you wrote was not unreasonable. What you wrote was very realistic and is very attainable. So there's no reason that men should not be out here just doing these basic things, and they are not. But they want us to put out, well, I am not. So there's that.
Exactly. And I think that's the thing too, is like, you have to ask questions, you have to be observant, and you have to be interested in meeting somebody halfway. And like, I don't know if anybody actually caught the nuance or whatever, but like in Tempted, he asks her all these questions while they're having sex. Like, are you interested in it? Do you like this? Are you okay with this? How does this feel? And in the second one, it's just like, he remembers all of that stuff, and he goes back to it over and over again because he knows what she likes and what she doesn't. And that's the thing, is like, that's how it should go. Like, you should be asking questions. You should be inquisitive. You should be attentive. And I think that's the thing that I heard the most about Hugh as a whole, is that women are like, I wish I had a man that was as attentive, that paid this much attention, that asked these questions. And it's just like, it shouldn't be that hard, because when I'm with someone, I'm asking them questions. I'm saying, how was this? Do you need this? Can I help you with this thing? And I feel like it's this weird, like, cultural, like sexual, this weird gender thing of like, women are supposed to be these nurturers and these carers, and men are just supposed to go out and provide. And it's just like, actually it's kind of reversed now, it seems like. And it seems that men don't want to nurture even though they're not providing anymore. But I feel like that's also getting into a whole other thing.
Wow, preach, sis, preach.
I was about to
Oh my
say, you
gosh.
said a mouthful.
That's a whole nother podcast.
That is all over, I guess.
We'll see you next month.
But the attentiveness, though, you're right, because even with the whole asking questions, I know a lot of people feel like they're uncomfortable doing that. But when you're touching me and you get a certain response, are you not logging that? Are you not saying, okay, when I touched her hair, she did this, so she likes that. Ooh, I touched her hair and she didn't really do anything, so maybe she doesn't like that much. So I knew like a guy, he I don't know, somebody he knows must love when he kisses their earlobe or whatever. And I'm just like, okay, that's enough. Can we move it on to another spot? Like,
Oh no.
and finally I was just like, that's not really a thing for me. Really? Women love that. All women, all of us, we all love it. It's programmed into our DNA that we all must have. You stick your tongue in our ears. Like, no, maybe somebody else liked it, but not me.
Please don't.
Stop.
And I think one thing that I personally have always had a problem with is like nipple play. I'm not like, it's not, there's only like 3 days a month where that's fun for me. The rest of it, it's not, right? And so I'm just like, all the guys I've with have been like into it. And I'm just like, I don't like that. Don't do that. It does nothing for me. You're just literally just touching me. Like it does, it's literally, it's just, you're just existing right now. You're not building anything up. Just saying.
Right. And they don't understand. Like they think that they're huge. So you're going to love it and you want them touched. And I'm like, yes, they may be large, but you don't need to touch them. Like you can just go around them, like, but they don't want to. They just like, no, it doesn't do anything for me.
And then it goes back to that conversation we were having about the what is it called? The titty fucking.
Oh yeah.
Like how
titty meat. Meat.
Yeah.
Like it's just like you're smushing them together. Like
right.
How is it fun for me?
I mean, like I said, you really have to be into the optics and theatrics. Like you cannot care how you look. You can't care about that. You really are just doing it for the vibes at this point. Because you're trying not to get like hit in the chin, and then you have to squeeze and then you have to make sure that it's doing what they need it to do. Like that's all theatrical, if you ask me. That's my opinion.
Well, I've had someone who was on the smaller range of average try and do it, and I'm just like, this does nothing for me. This is absolutely nothing for me. And then he was trying to like bend me over, and I'm like, bruh, I have ass. Like I have ass. Like that. There's ass back there, and you got like 4 inches that you're working with. Like, what do you think? How do you think that's gonna feel for me? Like, there's nothing. That the math doesn't math. It doesn't compute. So maybe go back to the drawing board and rethink that one.
Now, I can say though, when it's like a nice size and it's pretty, doesn't it make everything better? Everything is just automatically better. It's like
on your tippy toes. Yes, preach.
Oh, just put it on my shoulders. Everything is fun. It's all fun. It's like, okay, yeah, great.
Put it on my shoulders.
Just like,
oh my god,
put it wherever you want.
Both y'all. I'm jealous that you got all the booty meat. I want some booty meat. I don't have nothing back there. Mine's all up top.
Do you want some? I'll give you some. I didn't have this ass since I was like 5. I'll share. I'm just saying. It's a rotundness.
Not a rotund.
God. I'm done with y'all. I can't take y'all nowhere.
Well, ladies, this has been a really fun chat because I feel like we're very similar, but we've all had, also very different experiences. And it's really good to hear, from other people's perspectives. But I think we can all agree that not only is the romance necessary in some of the books that we read and write, but we need to get more men to read these books, so that they can see it's not all, delusional fantasy. Some of these things, it's very, very easy. Very easy. Here's a handbook for you, sir.
For real.
Follow it. So, JR, do you have any parting words?
You're asking the wrong person. I'm the one who's like devoid of hope. Ask Ayla for her parting words. Y'all are the romance authors. I kill people for fun in my books. So, yeah, parting words come from Ayla this week.
Ayla, do you have any parting words?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing I think we all should keep in mind is just to be vocal and not feel bad about having opinions, because the only way that we're going to get the things that we need in life, in romance, in relationships overall, at work, wherever, we have to open up our mouths and say these things. And if someone isn't interested in hearing what we have to say, maybe it's time for us to remove ourselves from that situation and find a better path forward. But I think, we just have to, have the rough conversations and, guide people to the right place. Move a little bit left, move a little bit right. Don't start twisting my nipples unless I'm 2 days away from my period, because it's not going to feel good for me. I digress.
Don't slap my titty.
We're going to slap anything.
All right,
slap
those were good closing words, y'all. We're done. Oh my God.
Good night. Well, join us on the next episode of Lit Ladies Podcast, where we talk about something else. No. Thank you guys for joining us.
I need you to have a better sign off with that. We got to work on this sign situation.
Thank you guys for joining us at Lit Ladies Lounge. See you next episode.